On WSOC tonight, priced out of Charlotte. The need never greater. Affordable housing was already an issue in Charlotte, and this pandemic is making it so much worse. Tonight, we're taking you inside homes and hotel rooms where families sacrifice space for the hope of keeping a roof over their heads.
There is nowhere else to go. Stuff is not affordable in Charlotte at all.
We're tackling that issue, asking what the city is doing right now to fix this. Plus, working with your landlord when you're behind.
My apartment complex has been really flexible.
But not everyone is. Our advice on the tough conversation you and your landlord need to have. And it's not just rent. Parents are making some tough choices on which bills to pay.
We ain't paid our light bill in like 3 months.
Thankfully, there's help. Tonight, we're sharing the success stories.
I'm trying not to cry.
And introducing you to the organizations you can connect with. WSOC Tonight, priced out of Charlotte, starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Erica Bryant. Tonight, we dedicate the next 35 minutes taking you in depth on our community's housing crisis. You'll meet the families who are living it and learn about ways to get and give help. We begin by laying out the big picture, the cost of keeping a roof over your family's head. For a one-bedroom apartment in Charlotte, the median price is $990 according to Apartment List. A two-bedroom goes up to $1,150. And now look at neighboring cities. There's at least a $100 difference, which is one reason so many people who work in the city live outside of it. Now more perspective on the cost of a one-bedroom. So many people trying to get by on minimum wage, $7.25 an hour. That means if you work a 40-hour week, you would make $290 or $1,160 a month before taxes. Again, the median rent in Charlotte for a one-bedroom, $990. That means rent would take up 85% of your pay before taxes. Why so many people are working two jobs and living with roommates. Renters aren't the only ones hurting. The average home price in Charlotte is up 5% from last year to $252,000. This according to Zillow. Again, that's at least $15,000 more than in surrounding cities. Of course, so many people simply can't begin to afford a house or apartment, especially when 36 million Americans have lost their jobs and people are just trying to survive. To do that, many are living in motels. Now, our Glenn Counts joins us with some first-hand accounts from people who are living in that situation right now. Glenn?
Well, Erica, for a lot of people, a hotel or a motel is their final stop before homelessness. Now, it can cost every bit as much as an apartment. The difference is you pay it 1 week at a time. The sad fact is, though, in the age of COVID-19, a growing number of families can't even afford that. The doorbell at the Southern Comfort Inn is the sound of someone wanting to spend the night, a week, or even years.
You can, think bad and look down on them, but, without Tracy in a place like this, a lot of people would be on the streets.
Wanda Heron has called this place home for 4 years. Tracy Canterbury is the general manager and one of her best friends.
Stuff is not affordable in Charlotte at all. They say it's affordable, but it's not affordable.
Lorraine Sims is a mother of 3 and has lived here since August.
At one point I was sad, because you don't imagine you being in this situation again.
Charlotte's lack of affordable housing has forced a growing number of people into motels to avoid being homeless. That was before the virus. Now it's even worse.
I think the desperation level is extremely high for the families in hotels right now.
Isaac Sturgill is with Legal Aid. He says their phones are ringing off the hook from families who can't pay rent, and a lot of the properties are ignoring the state's current order outlawing evictions.
We have seen some pretty underhanded tactics from other hotels. We've seen things like the hotel shutting off the power or the water.
The Southern Comfort is an exception. The manager sees to that.
When the guests come to me and they're like, Miss Tracy, I can't pay, I always put myself in their shoes. If it were me, what would I do? And there's no way that I can put them out.
I'd pay her, and I'm getting caught up, but without her, I'd be on the streets.
Because if it wasn't for her, I'd probably still be sleeping in a tent or sleeping behind some abandoned building,
Well, if you need help from legal aid, you can give them a call. That phone number is 855-797-3247. And Erica, before the pandemic, legal aid tells us that they were taking about 20 complaints a week from people who were claiming that their hotel owner was trying to illegally evict them. That is now up to around 65 per week.
Well, Glenn, seeing people brought to tears, you know, this is serious. Thank you. We want to bring in our Joe Bruno right now. Joe, I know you keep tabs on every step that Charlotte makes, and you've learned about apartments the city is working on right now to make housing more affordable.
Erica, the city just signed off on more than 1,300 affordable housing units, but it's going to take a lot more where that came from to climb out of this affordable housing crisis. January 2020. Hundreds of people stood in the rain, all for a shot at living at a new complex on Freedom Drive. One of those people was Tatiana Miner.
The process was very crazy. So you have the first day back in January where we had the application process, and the line was ridiculous. It stretched all the way back past the McDonald's. Kind of had to stand out there the whole time.
She's one of the few people now living in the mezzanine on Freedom. Part of it is still under construction. The project was made possible in part by a $4.5 million investment from Charlotte's Housing Trust Fund in 2017. In 2018, voters approved $50 million for that fund. Last month, the city of Charlotte voted to spend about $15 million for more than 1,300 units. Here are their locations. You can see they're spread across the city. Housing and Neighborhood Services Director Pam Weideman told me the money will go a long way, especially now.
I like to tell people affordable housing was a need before of COVID-19, and it certainly is a need as a result of COVID-19.
The projects include Evoke at Arrowwood, 168 units near one of Central Piedmont Community College's campuses. Mineral Springs Commons, 73 units on land near a Northeast Charlotte church, and 194 new beds for the shelter on Statesville Avenue. Councilman Malcolm Graham says COVID-19 has increased and magnified the need for affordable housing.
It's impacted in a tremendous type of way. One of the major variables is to shelter in place. And when you don't have a home or a place to call home to do that, it makes it extremely difficult.
Graham is in charge of the city's COVID-19 Affordable Housing Task Force. They'll be looking at things like, should leaders develop on city-owned land? Should the city pursue container or tiny homes? And if voters approve an additional $50 million in November, should it be spent differently?
The affordable housing problem in Charlotte has always been bad. With making great strides, this just added another layer of uncertainty.
As for Miner, she says any and all help is needed.
It most definitely is hard.
So Joe, how do you think this pandemic will now affect the future bond campaigns?
Erica, the good news is the city is in great financial health, and at this point they can still put that $50 million affordable housing bond referendum on the November ballot. So that will still happen. The talks are now about how that money will be spent if voters approve it, and Councilman Malcolm Graham is asking people to email him with ideas on how that money should be spent should it be approved. Erica.
All right, Joe, thank you. One of the helplines for our neighbors in need is Crisis Assistance Ministry. Its primary mission is to keep people from being evicted or from having their utilities cut off. The director told me today that the need right now is unprecedented. Now, we have seen so many families on the verge of being kicked out of hotel and motel rooms. Tell me what you all have been able to do to keep them from being put out.
That was the big shock in March that you recall, when all of a sudden, on 2 hours notice, someone who had lived in a hotel, sometimes for years, most times for many, many months, found themselves being kicked out. And so as the financial emergency room of Charlotte, we were asked, and we came together and created a stopgap system, and we were able to stop 1,300 families and their children from being evicted from hotels over a 5-week period.
Now, meeting that need took $700,000. The agency can also help people with mortgage payments. And when eviction courts reopen on June the 1st, the need will only grow. If you are able, Carol Hardison says 100% of the donations right now are going toward rent and utility payments for people in need. Now you can text to give, just text the word dignity to 91999 or donate online at crisisassistance.org. If you need help, we want to get you connected. We've created a county-by-county housing resource guide. It's on WSOCTV.com under our community tab. For each of our 22 counties, there's a specific list of organizations that can help. And we've also created a Spanish version of the guide. We have a lot more to cover tonight, including a mother who says she left abuse for a shelter, and now she has a home. You'll want to hear about her journey and the new business that she launched along the way. And believe it or not, researchers say millennials are the hardest hit by this housing crisis. One young woman's story and how to get help. Plus,
And one thing I'm not going to do is see my kids on the street.
this mother's plea for help answered. No money for rent until one organization stepped in to help. And they want to help other families too.